Okay, here's the second half of our video, and hopefully I'll be able to keep it a little bit more in the center. My video skills are kind of lacking. Okay, now I want to show you the section that I'm going to do next. I've decided that I want to start on this little flower. And that's one thing I didn't really explain either, how you know what colors to use for what. Each square that you're going to stitch on your chart is represented by a symbol. And those symbols, the symbol chart, tells you what color each symbol stands for. So we are using the DMC on the right, so just ignore all these numbers on the left because we're not using those. The numbers that you'll find on your thread card will be these DMC numbers on the right. So I'm looking for that flower, so I scan down until I find the flower, and I find that that's number 603. And for a reference, it gives you the name of the color cranberry. It's kind of light for cranberry, but that's what they call it. So that color is a pink color, medium pink color. So that's how I know what color to use. And those colors are, every symbol on your chart will have a corresponding symbol on your stitch chart. And you can find it that way. So then you would go to your card and pull out that thread, which I already did, and I threaded my needle. So in order to find where I'm going to start this cranberry is I'm going to use this is the green row that I stitched earlier that was just to the left of my center. That's where I started with. So I want to start stitching at this flower right here. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows up, and 1, 2, 3 rows over. So 1, 2, 3 rows over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows up. So I'll need to have 5 blank rows in between my green and where I start my pink. So here I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blank rows. So I'm going to start in this one. So I'm going to be in my left side of this one, and then I'm going to count 3 over. 1, 2, 3. So that leaves me here. So 5 blank rows and 3 over. So that's where I'm going to start. So I'm going to stitch these two, and then I'm going to show you how to stitch this little one over in the corner, right above that, the one here. And quite frankly, I think it's really hard to see that symbol there because it's tiny, it's really hard to tell. So when you can't really tell, use your color reference chart. And looking at that, you can see very easily that it is, sorry, the cat is moving the camera. Allie, get out of here. You can tell really easy on here on the color chart that it's supposed to be pink, and the other side is supposed to be this blue color. So if you can't read the symbol, you younger gals probably, and guys probably will be able to read it, but sometimes when you get a little older, it's hard to read that little tiny symbol in there. So if you use your color chart, a lot of times it's pretty easy to tell what color it's supposed to be if you use your reference that way. So I already have my needle set to go, and I'll try to keep this a little bit more. You know what? I'm going to move my camera over a little bit this way, and that should help me. Uh-oh. Sorry. It's my little strap that's holding my camera up. That should help get this a little bit more in the center. Okay, so I've already counted up 6 and over 3. So I'm going to, oh, that's my mess from before because I didn't finish. I just kept got a new needle. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did earlier with the green, and I'm going to keep a little tail off to the left. And I'm going to take my 2 stitches here. And at the same time, I'm going to be keeping that tail hopefully under my back stitches. Now sometimes you actually have to move that tail over and sometimes hold it. Okay, that gets it down flat. Can you see that? Yeah. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to take my 2 stitches to the left. I'm going to cross them from left to right. Not pulling too tight so they look nice and filled. You want that whole square to be filled with thread. Nice and plump. Remember, if your thread looks like it's getting thin, just hold your cross stitch up and let your needle dangle, and it'll untwist and your thread will be full again. Okay, so I have my 2, and right above my left one is where I need to make that half stitch. So I'm going to, if I put my needle back in this corner, my stitch is going to come right out because I just put it down in there, so it's going to come out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finagle around and get that in the center of that square. It's not quite as easy because there's not a big hole, but you can figure it out. There's just 2 threads there. And then I'm going to come back in that same corner that I just crossed in before. So that is going to be my half cross stitch. Now, according to my chart, my other color is this blue color on the other side of that half cross stitch right there. So what I'll do is in this half, when I'm stitching with my blue, I'll do the exact same thing, but from the other side. I'll take a blue and I'll come up in this corner, and then I'll come down in the center. And then when I back stitch with my red smile, is that where this is? No, sorry. This is with the dark brown. It will cross over that. So when I back stitch with single strand of this dark brown here, it'll separate those 2 colors. Now that being said, you do want to make a quarter or half stitch like that when there's 2 colors. If you have a section of your cross stitch that is divided like here in the smile, where you can see these 2 symbols are the same. Don't bother making a quarters, half into the middle and half from this side. Just make a full cross stitch both ways. Boom, boom. And then come over with your thread. It's fine. There's no reason to fiddle with doing the 2 half stitches. Just cross right over your full cross stitch. So if you have half stitches like that and the symbols are the same, make a full cross stitch. If you have half symbols like this and the symbols are different, then you want to go from one corner to the center, from one corner to the center. Okay? So the only thing really left is the back stitching. Back stitching is done with 1 strand of thread, not 3. That's too thick. So what you're going to do is you'll just pull 1 thread out. You'll thread your needle with just one single strand, just like that. And then you're just going to start anywhere you want, and you're going to just backstitch. Obviously short little ones like that is 1 stitch. This one you could do all 3 stitches here. 1, 2, 3. You can go from here, you know, come up here and go down here. I wouldn't go much longer than about 2 to 3 stitches. Then come down like this one I'd probably do in 2. This one you can do in 1. This one I'd do in 2. You know, when you get over into spaces like that, you don't want to go from here all the way down to here. That's too long and too loose. So do it in sections of 2 to 3 squares and come all the way down. Most of the back stitching on the figures are done in this black line here, which the color for that is kind of a dark chocolate brown. That's this color here. Really dark, almost a black. So those are all done with that color. The other back stitches are marked on your chart. They're down here, and they do tell you 1X, that's 1 strand of thread. We're obviously using the DMC colors. So here I have mine in red. That tells me to use 321, so that's what I'll use for that 1 strand. There's some that's yellow. There's not very many. There's a few kits that have yellow. Some have this blue color. The only other one that, besides this dark black brown, is the dark aquamarine 991, and that's used on the letters. So you can see on my J, the whole entire letter is outlined in that dark aquamarine, which is 991. So everyone's letters will be outlined in that. So everybody will have 2 colors at least to outline in, either the dark brown or the dark aquamarine, and the dark aquamarine. And some people will have some different ones depending on their kit. Like I have a little smile on my Jack-in-the-Box. So hopefully that's answered some questions that you might have about getting started. One thing, if you are going to store, you know, work on your thing later, is when you store your needle, you can store your needle like I did here on I had my green needle, but keep it on the edge. And if you keep it on the edge of your work, where we won't really be using this to quilt anything, that way if it makes, if it enlarges the holes a little bit, it won't show. If I doubt your needle would rust, because we need these back well before rust can settle in. But if you were working on a long-term project, of which this is not, it's a very short-term project, you wouldn't want to leave a needle in the middle of your work, because if it did rust, you wouldn't want it to leave a stain on your fabric. Another thing I can remind you is to always wash your hands really well, and don't use hand cream before you're going to start, because those can put oils on the fabric and leave little stains. You won't have to worry about your edges. I know in the past we've taped the edges, but we've made, so we didn't have fraying, but we've made these bigger than we really need. So even if you have a little fraying, which these don't really fray that much, it's pretty stiff, we're going to cut down the edges to the size square that we need for the quilt. So that's about it. If you have any questions, give me a call or Monica a call, and we'll be happy to help you. And, you know, look at the video again if you need to, if you need any help. Ellie's coming into the picture here. Ellie, stop it. It's time for her to eat, so she's rambunctious. So talk to you later. Good luck with your cross stitch. Call Monica or I if you have any problems. Bye.